might think there is enough water, but you have to watch the depth sounder really carefully. As I try to swim, they wrap around my legs.
To be in forest and mountains while on a boat cruising along a river, this is just the top. I'm Maya and this is Aladino. In mid-November, we converted our 28-foot sailboat into a riverboat, and we started going north from the Mediterranean all the way to the North Sea. In front of us, we had 2,000 kilometers and 200 locks. Join us as we navigate river currents, discover incredible places, cruise through canals, wait out a global pandemic in the heart of France, and record the whole voyage with a new episode every Friday. This is North Through the Continent. We're going north through the continent. Alright, it's time to get on the road again, or on the canal again. So we spent last night here in the town of Besançon, and now it's time to leave and go a little bit farther upriver. We won't make it far today because it's already pretty late. We spent our morning exploring a fortress on top of the hill with tigers and baboons. It was crazy. There's more about that in the previous episode. But now we have to leave town, and there's two options for leaving town. The first option is to take this loop. The canal sort of loops around the whole town. It's sort of like this little peninsula. However, that's only for shallow draft boats. The maximum is 1.30 meters and we're 1.40 meters, so that's not an option for us. The second option for deeper draft boats is to take a tunnel. And the tunnel actually goes underneath the fortress that we were at this morning. So there is the lock, which is going to lift us up into the tunnel, and up there is the fortress where we were at this morning. We floated in front of the lock, unsure how to proceed. There was a sign showing that we couldn't use our remote here, so we weren't sure how the lock was supposed to open. There were no other instructions. There was a video camera, so we thought maybe there's someone monitoring that. But after waiting for half an hour, Aladino tried calling VNF. All they said is we should wait some more, so we kept waiting. Finally, Aladino walked over to the lock, and sure enough, there was a lock keeper there, but she just hadn't really been paying attention. We were only the second boat to go through that day, so it's not exactly a high traffic area at the moment. But she prepared the lock, and we levitated up into the tunnel. To be on a sailboat, slipping beneath a fortress, what a surreal experience. It was already mid-afternoon, so we had a short day in front of us. If you remember from the last episode, we'd already grounded the boat in this river before, and although it had ended well, we weren't eager to repeat the exercise. But little did we know that grounding wouldn't even be the biggest problem the river would throw at us. There was a lot more adventure still to come.
Clear skies, so hopefully this passes quickly. Yeah, we're exactly in a similar situation again. The width and the size of the river throws you off here. You might think there is enough water, but you have to watch the depth sounder really carefully. As soon as it starts rising, I divert into another direction.
By the way, on that note about the depth sounder, one of our problems coming down the canals last time is that we didn't actually have a functioning depth sounder. So that has been a really nice feature to have a functioning depth sounder.
Also counterintuitive is sometimes at the edges there is more water depth, especially if they do some maintenance on it. I think they do the sides and not the middle. So yeah, right now we are ghosting on the edge. Good ice here. Oh.
Okay, so we have over here a marker. However, it is still very, oh, it's gone up again. Now it's 2.5. It just went down to 1.8, so we killed the speed. And then also, so we have the marker, which we have to leave onto our port side, and that because we're going upstream. And then we also have just up here, there's a sign. It's behind the bush right now, but there's a sign which says we have to stay 10 meters off this bank. So it's a very specific channel because you have to stay 10 meters away from this shore, but you can't be in the middle of the river either. So there's actually like a very narrow route that's possible. Up there is another red navigation marker, and here is the sign that says keep 15 meters off. So that makes it even narrower, and the bottom, you can see it. I don't know if the camera, oh yeah, the camera can see it. It's got a few rocks on there, so we don't necessarily want to hit. Looks so shallow. It is shallow. You can see just up there, there's actually like stuff growing in the water. There's like a little island sort of thing. Yeah, this is very tricky navigation. Very, very tricky navigation. Okay, we're at 1.9 on the depth sounder again. 1.8. 2.1, okay. It was a funny voyage. When the depth sounder rose, we'd push forward the throttle. And as soon as we saw the depth sounder drop, we'd pull back and try to find a deeper channel. Faster, slower, faster, slower. Fortunately, we never did hit the bottom, so I guess our method kind of worked.
So it's approaching 7 o'clock, and 7 is end of the day for locks. We are just in front of one, and I activated it, just 10 minutes before, but it's raining, so we'll stay here.
I am getting ready to hop off the boat. I'll head over to the lock and catch the lines. As Aladino comes in, we've found that's the easiest way when one of us can be on the wall catching lines and then the other one on the boat, of course. One thing is, last night I went for a walk along the canal as I was talking to a friend on the phone, and I noticed that the next section of canal has a lot of weeds in it, a lot more than we've seen before. So yeah, I'm hoping it doesn't become a problem with the water intake for the engine, but we'll just have to see. So far we've been really good with not sucking weeds into the water intake, so hopefully that continues. Okay, so we're done with the lock, and here is the intense seaweed zone that I was talking about. This is a lot. It's all very nice when the canal looks like a painting from Manet, but it's not so good to motor through on a boat. At times it looked like we were motoring across a lawn rather than a canal. We kept a close eye on the engine's temperature gauge and constantly listened to make sure that there was still water coming out the exhaust. The main problem with all these weeds are the danger of them blocking the water intake for the engine cooling, which would lead to overheating. If left unchecked, overheating can permanently destroy an engine. The water intake seemed fine, but we did encounter another problem.
All of a sudden we started moving really slow, and I think we got tons of seaweed around the prop. At maximum RPM we go 2.5 knots. Yeah.
We tried reversing, and Aladino tried to get it all out with the boat hook, but it seemed like we had collected quite a forest around our propeller. There weren't many other options other than to jump in and clear it all out.
Wow, we even stay wedged in place.
I know, I was just looking at that. We're literally wedged into the weeds.
Cool. I always make these references to doing the trip on the previous boat, but I mean, since many of you watch it to, see how it is. And as a comparison, I mention it again. Last boat I had a folding prop, and I definitely went in way more often. So this is first time now with Magic Carpet, and we have a 3-blade fixed prop. Yeah, instead with the folding prop, many times it was right when staying in the lock or going out of the lock that the prop was closed during the locking and weeds get around it, and then it doesn't open as you want to continue. So many times you're ready to continue out of a lock and you have to go in and clean the prop. Yeah.
Oh no.
You'd be freaking out now.
Seaweeds! Yes, it's true. Well, you're also freaking out, just for different reasons.
Because of the cold.
Exactly.
But it's funny, as I try to swim, they wrap around my legs and then they inhibit my swimming.
Oh, that's so freaky! Oh, I would hate that.
Yeah, but there's so many. Do we have some kind of a more clear channel? Because I'll try to get it in there, otherwise it's full in a second.
Basically just where
Over
you
here?
are right now, yeah. The only clear channel, clear-ish.
Just hope it works for a little while.
There we were again. I stood up at the bow and directed Aladino down the clearest path. When we finally reached the river section again, we breathed a sigh of relief. The relatively gentle current in the river was enough to prevent such insane plant growth, which we were very happy about. Plus, the river here was gorgeous, a pastoral landscape, sloping grassy hills, and riverside cottages tucked into the trees.
There is a life I lead in this city, hurrying to cut my teeth. I can take what I need to get by. It doesn't make it easy. The other piece of my heart moves slow, somewhere in the great unknown. When I return from the afterglow, will you carry me like I am whole again? Wait, hold on, put me together, take me back where I belong. I want it all. I had a feeling, but the feeling is all gone.
I feel like now we are getting rewarded for that romp through all the weeds with this beautiful scenery. This is just above and beyond. How gorgeous. And I'm so glad that the sun came out a little bit, because it just casts everything in such a more beautiful light. So nice. As always, we went up more locks. I was enthralled with the foam patterns in this one. The shapes slid and shifted as the water poured in from the front.
If I could take you back to my youth, it's show you what I wish I knew. My will is strong with a place to lean. In the moment I hung desperately. The other ring on my wrist is gold, pairing with the light it holds. When I return from my skin and bones, I'm remembering the words you told me. Wait, hold on.
So according to this sign right here, for the next 900 meters we will be entering into a technologically risky zone. And if we hear a siren, we have to stop the motor and evacuate. No smoking, no cell phones, and there's danger of explosion. Cool. Well, as far as technologically risky, this truck appears to be loaded up with propane bottles, so I guess that is quite risky. But so far I'm not actually sure what the technology is supposed to be around here. We never really found out what was risky about this zone, and eventually we passed through this little harbor, so we assumed the risk was over with. Here's a funny little sailboat with mast up. How cool. Yeah, I also wonder where it sails to. The landscape was now getting more and more beautiful. I wonder what life would be like living in an ancient house in France alongside a quiet canal. So this is quite strange, and I'm a bit confused what's happening here.
Ah, the whole thing could lift.
I think the whole thing is actually going to lift. So I think we might still be going upstream, but now we have a floating dock, which makes things way easier.
No.
It's also interesting because this whole thing, it's not like walled in, it's just a green wall on either side. So I mean...
Just look on the other side, I think we're still going down.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, there is no signs of seaweed on the wall.
I don't even know if we're moving at all. This might just be a floodgate.
Okay, let's go.
I don't know if the water level is going to change much. All right, gates are opening. I think we might have gone up a few centimeters, but not much. Time to head back into the river. I grew up in the land of sea to sky, where you can famously go alpine skiing in the morning and then jump into the ocean in the afternoon. And so there's something that will always feel good about standing at water level and looking up into the mountains. Compared to my home of British Columbia, these weren't exactly soaring mountains, but I was nonetheless very happy. To be in forest and mountains, well on a boat, cruising along a river, this is just the top. This is just amazing. It is so beautiful. It is just, the air is so fresh. We're on a boat surrounded by mountains. I love this. I'm so content. This lock is next to an abandoned building, which we think used to be a factory of some kind, but now it's fallen into disrepair, and it makes for a very spooky and very interesting neighbor to this lock.
Here we are, lock 45 or something, and I remember I always liked stopping here because there's big fish accumulating here, but they never bit.
But it's cool how it's like this old style brick factory. I'm not sure what they produced here, but it is a very cool vibe.
Yeah.
And it's now starting to rain.
Yes. I am ready to continue.
Okay, let's go. The air felt heavy with rain and the sky kept getting darker and darker. It was nearly time to tie up for the evening. But where? We checked the charts. It looked like there was a small harbor and campground located in a nearby town called Baume-les-Dames. Perfect. We made that our goal. Okay, we arrived to the dock for the night, and now there's a thunderstorm passing overhead. Torrential rain. We just had some dinner, and yeah, check this out. Yeah, I didn't film when we arrived because honestly, when we arrived to this dock, I was in a really bad mood. We've been having a few flies in the boat recently, and today, I don't know, maybe they laid eggs somewhere, but there was like so many flies, and so I was going crazy trying to kill them all with a paperback book, just absolutely in the worst mood possible, so I didn't film anything. But then we just sat down for dinner and it started pouring like this, and honestly, when it rains this hard, there's just something about it that like it forces you to snap out of a bad mood because it's just so incredible. You just have to watch it. It's mesmerizing. When the thunderstorm drifted away, we were left with the wet glow of the setting sun. And that is the end of this portion of the adventure. Thank you so much to all of you for watching. Please give us a thumbs up if you haven't done so already, and leave a comment letting us know what you thought. If you'd like to see more of our adventure, hit the subscribe button, and an extra big thank you to our patrons for making these weekly episodes possible. It's so amazing knowing that you guys are there supporting what we are creating. I love making these videos, and it's just an absolute honor to make them for you all. And an extra big thank you to these folks who really go the extra mile to make sure these videos keep being a reality. We'll see you all next week.